most of us spend our lives trying to build something that lasts, a skill, a career, maybe just a better version of ourselves. And we've been told that the secret ingredient is this big, powerful feeling, motivation. But what if that's just wrong? What if success isn't built on a feeling at all, but on something much more solid? That's what we're going to get into.
This one sentence right here is a total game changer for anyone who's ever felt stuck. It's not about waiting for some magical spark of inspiration to hit. It's about building a reliable engine that just runs every single day, whether you feel like it or not.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You get all excited to start something new, a new project, a new workout, whatever. Your motivation is through the roof. And then a week later, it's been a long day, you're tired, you're stressed, and that feeling, it's just gone, vanished.
Yeah, this is what we call the motivation trap. It's that endless cycle of getting inspired, starting out super strong, and then just falling off, because that initial feeling didn't last. Most of us don't fail because we're lazy. We fail because we're depending on a source of energy that is completely unreliable. And that's the core of the problem, isn't it? We're trying to build something consistent with a tool that is fundamentally inconsistent. Motivation is kind of a fair-weather friend. It loves the starting line, but it absolutely hates the messy middle. And that messy middle is where all the real progress actually happens.
So, okay, if motivation isn't the answer, then what is? Well, to really get it, let's use a simple metaphor. The huge difference between a spark and an engine.
This right here, this is more than just a comparison. It's about a total shift in your identity. A spark is just a feeling, right? I'll do it when I feel like it. That puts your emotions in the driver's seat. But an engine, that's a structure. This is what I do. That's a statement of fact. It's just part of who you are, no matter how you feel.
Think about it. Sparks are great for starting a fire, for sure, but they are not going to keep you warm through the winter. For that, you need a furnace. You need an engine that provides consistent, reliable heat. That's exactly what a system does for your goals.
Now, I know this might sound good in theory, but let's look at a really powerful real-world example of how this plays out. This isn't some complicated productivity hack. It's about a profoundly simple rule that led to incredible success.
So long before the bestseller, before millions of people were following him, James Clear was just a writer trying to be consistent. He wasn't some superhuman who was motivated all the time. He just got it. He understood the problem with relying on that feeling, so he built a system instead.
That was it. That was the entire system. Not write a chapter, not write 1,000 words, just 2 sentences. And why? Because the goal wasn't to produce a masterpiece every day. The goal was to completely remove the need for motivation. I mean, nobody is ever too unmotivated, too tired, or too busy to write just 2 sentences.
And this just shows you the pure genius of a good system. By making the barrier to entry basically zero, he showed up every single day. Now, some days, yeah, he probably only wrote those 2 sentences. But most days, once he started, he kept going. The system wasn't about the output of any one day. It was about making sure the process never, ever stopped. Progress just became an inevitable side effect.
Okay, so the big question is, how do we actually apply this? How do we go from relying on motivation to building our own engines? Well, it's a lot simpler than you might think. It all starts by really understanding why motivation fails us again and again.
First things first, we have to just accept why motivation constantly lets us down. It's completely tied to our mood. It disappears the second we're stressed. And it definitely doesn't stick around for the boring, repetitive work that you have to do to get good at anything. A system, though? A system works on your bad days, when you're tired, when life is messy.
Let's get really practical. Saying I want to be consistent is just a wish. There's no structure. But saying every day at 7 a.m. I work for 30 minutes, now that is a system. It's a clear, simple instruction. There's no decision to make, no feeling you have to check in with. You just do it. Here's another one. I want to get fit is a vague goal that needs a dose of motivation to get started. But I walk 20 minutes after dinner, no exceptions. That's a system. It's anchored to something you already do, dinner. And that little no exceptions rule, it takes the whole debate off the table.
So you see the pattern here, right? A truly powerful system has 3 core parts. A specific timer trigger like at 7 a.m. or after dinner, a specific non-negotiable action like work for 30 minutes, and a repeatable process, something you can just do over and over again. That's your engine.
Now, building that structure, that's one half of it. The other half is all internal.
It's about changing the very first question you ask yourself every single morning.
This is the crucial shift. You have to stop checking in with your feelings to ask for permission to act. Instead, you need to design a process that is so simple, so solid, that it can survive you at your absolute worst, because that is the true test of a system.
Seriously, the pros in any field, athletes, artists, you name it, they get this. They don't show up every day because they're feeling inspired. They show up because it's what their system says to do. Their structure is just stronger than any temporary feeling of doubt or tiredness.
And that's really the core takeaway here. If you want to change your life, you have to stop waiting for the feeling to show up. It won't stay. Instead, build a structure. Build a structure so strong that motivation just becomes a nice bonus when it happens to visit, not a requirement to get things done.
Just think about that for a second. On your best day, sure, motivation can take you to some incredible heights. But on your worst day, and trust me, those days will always come, your progress, who you are, your success, all of it will be decided by the strength of the systems you built.